What up, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back. Hopefully, y'all are enjoying y'all Christmas Eve festivities. The playoffs are right around the corner. So, without further ado, let's get right to the show. All right. So, how's everybody doing? But, let's get right to it. First, I want to start with the Washington and the Eagles game. Psh, is this even worth talking about? Philadelphia's 10-5. They are solidifying their lead in the NFC East. No competition, easy win for them. What they're doing now is, in my opinion, getting back to Super Bowl form. Not that the Commanders were a worthy opponent, but they're starting to kind of feel the urgency. I feel like a lot of people were giving Hurts a bad time, and but after destroying the Raiders and now convincingly beating, not convincingly, but beating the Commanders, I feel like the Eagles could make a strong push in the playoffs. I still think the Rams are the best, despite their loss to Seattle, but the Eagles, they're looking good. If Barkley can get in the game, he's got they had 207 rushing yards. Saquon scored a touchdown. Uh, Everybody kind of got involved. So there's really nothing they should worry about. But they are going to have some competition in the playoffs with the Bears and the Rams, whoever they face, but we'll see. But, easy win for Philadelphia. Oh, boy. This was a very interesting game. It's kind of exactly what we expected. Okay, first of all, we didn't expect the Bears to be this good this year. Come on, let's admit that, right? But we knew, like I said last week, the reason why the Packers were early Super Bowl favorites was because of their addition to Micah Parsons. With him no longer there, the Packers are still a good team, but they got some stiff competition. And the Bears are hot. They are coming in hot. Now they're 11-4, and they easily are ahead in their division. So, throughout this game, it looked like Green Bay was going to win it. For I think about like at least the first half, they were in control of the whole game. They actually were up in the third quarter. Jordan Love did suffer a concussion, but the backup quarterback didn't do that bad. The real issue was Caleb Williams came alive. Caleb Williams. So I remember last year I was wondering if he was an overhyped bust, and I didn't think he had a right to compare himself to Mahomes. He still doesn't, but this guy's electrifying. He's finding his rhythm, and he is absolutely worth the number one pick last year. And they're showing that the Bears will go as far as Caleb, and the defense takes them. Look, 16-22, right? They're pretty even on first downs, 20 first downs. 1 second. Williams, let's pull up his numbers. Easy money. 19 to 34, 250 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Didn't get sacked at all. And he had 30 yards rushing on the ground. Meanwhile, you got Jordan Love. He did okay. I mean, the thing is, he got knocked out with a concussion. But at the end of the day, they were controlling the ball through the ground, So anyway, I'm not going to get too deep into it. Chicago is going to run away with that division. And it just shows that the Bears, I still wonder if they're going to do this in the playoffs. I mean, but right now they are rolling. We can't deny, they have a 2-game lead in the NFC North. Green Bay is the second one. Detroit still trying to find their rhythm, which they face Minnesota. We'll get to that later. But yeah. The Chicago Bears will win the NFC North. That's pretty crazy to say. That's pretty crazy to hear, to say. So, all right, that's enough of that. Okay, so this is another one where these two teams are fighting for the division crown, right? And it doesn't even. I picked Tampa Bay to win this one. Point blank. I picked Tampa Bay to win this one. I felt like Carolina was the team that was just happy to be there, I felt like they're kind of the way they've been slipping lately, that their run was over. But really what we really have to call out is Tampa Bay's massive fall from grace. They are having a late season collapse, which completely could put the coach, his job, on the line. They were doing so well. Mayfield was doing so well. And now we don't even know if they're going to make the playoffs. They probably won't. They're 7-8. Carolina is going to win that division. Which, that's crazy to say. I mean, look at the game. 2023. They had more first downs, but Mayfield, 145 yards passing with 1 touchdown, 1 interception. I mean, he grossly underperformed. Bryce Young, he did what we expected from him. We don't really expect him to put up a bunch of numbers. He did 21 of 32, 21 completions of 32 attempts with 191 yards with 2 touchdowns. And he had some nice scrambles on the ground. So, I mean, this is amazing to see Carolina do a complete 180 from last year. And the fact that they're winning the division is just incredible. But obviously the NFC is too crowded. You got the Eagles, Rams, Bears, Packers, all these guys. So I don't think the Panthers are going to go anywhere in the playoffs, but you got to let them enjoy their moment. They deserve it. They turned it around. Bryce Young has proven he's their franchise quarterback. So happy for them. But I guess the question is, when will their winning streak end? Like, how far will they go in the playoffs? I think I already know they won't go that far, but it is what it is. Stop, Blue. Man, live streaming with a dog in the background. All right. Be quiet, Blue. Now my sound effects are working this stream, so don't you worry about that. All right. So now that might stop, Blue. Hold on. Every time I get on live stream, my neighbor's dogs want to walk by and bark at my dog and instigate. I don't know if you can hear them. They're still barking, and Blue is like, my dog is taking everything in him not to respond. Okay, ignore them. I might have to pause this stream. Hold on. My neighbor's dog is mean. They're mean as hell, man. So, all right. Back to what I was saying. Stop whining, Blue. It's okay. Ignore them. Back to what I was saying. Now that you hear him whining still, it's all right, big man. Oh man. Anyway, now that the Chiefs are out, yes, the AFC is wide open, right? But I think when all the cards fall and all the smoke clears, the Buffalo Bills are going to come out on top. Because the Ravens are out, the Chiefs are out, the Bengals are out. And notice those teams that I mentioned, they're the ones that have the best quarterbacks in the league. Burrow, Mahomes, and Lamar Jackson, right? So with them gone, you got the Bills. Yes, the Bills have a suspect defense, right? But they got Josh Allen. And their defense will do good just enough. I don't see them getting knocked out by Denver. I don't see them getting knocked out by Jacksonville if they were to face. Maybe the only competition I might have if they do face would be the Steelers, simply because they have such a veteran presence. But the Steelers always choke in the playoffs anyway. And you judge these quarterbacks by how many rings they have, by how many wins they have in the postseason. And as far as those quarterbacks that I mentioned, only Joe Burrow, aside from Mahomes, only Joe Burrow and Josh Allen have had postseason success. But they've had one common denominator who has knocked them out consistently, and that's Patrick Mahomes. Now with no Patrick Mahomes, this is those other guys' time to shine. The Ravens, the Bengals, and they blew it this year. Well, Burrow got hurt, but they blew it. So this is the Bills' opportunity, right? While the Chiefs are down, the big dog, because I still think if Mahomes is fully healthy and they can keep the same formula that they've had the past few years, they'll be all right. They might lose a few players. They might get rid of Kelsey, whatever. The Chiefs will be okay, but that all depends on how good Mahomes is. But while they're figuring that out, these other teams, they got a lot of pressure to win now. Allen, Burrow, Jackson, they got a lot of pressure because they're always regarded as, at any given moment, the best quarterback in the league. So this is Allen's year. I think he's going to take them to the Super Bowl. My pick will be the Bills and the Rams, since I originally was sticking with the Chiefs and the Rams, but we all saw how that turned out. So, bye, Chiefs. This is what I wanted to do last week, but the soldier salute, my freaking sound effects didn't work. But we're not talking about the Chiefs here. We're talking about the Bills. They're going to go. So, I feel like this is their year to go all the way. So, all right. We have, and I forgot to mention the Chargers. I still, yes, again, the AFC is stacked, right? It's wide open now that the Chiefs are out, right? But I always keep a second eye on the Chargers because we've seen this before. Justin Herbert has a great year. They have a good record, and then you expect them to do well in the playoffs, and then they tank in the playoffs. If the Chargers can consistently win, they could be a force. I mean, first of all, we don't even know who's going to be playing next week. Maybe I'll cover that on my previews for next week's games. But it's just interesting to see how well the Chargers will do in the playoffs because they haven't done well in the past. And if you guys remember, Herbert completely tanked. And it looked like it was a close game between the Cowboys because, the Dallas has the talent to play spoiler. But, I mean, at the end of the day, the Chargers, they turned it up and they rolled right through them. 34-17, 24 first downs, 300 passing yards, and 152 rushing yards. And in my opinion, the rushing and the defense is what's going to enable Herbert to do his thing because the Chargers still have kind of a shaky offensive line. So if their defense and their rushing attack stands on par. They got a good shot to not choke in the playoffs. But I'm not sold yet. I think they're still going to choke in the playoffs, but we'll see. Again, this could be anybody's game in the AFC. So, for the playoffs. And, so we'll see. But good game for the Chargers. And, of course, the Cowboys are sliding. They have no shot. So, somebody got to talk to Jerry Jones, man. All right. This is funny. This is actually very funny to watch. They're talking about Tyler Show could be Rookie of the Year all of a sudden. He's given the Saints a late season surge. He's upset his two division rivals, the Panthers and the Bucks, and they made light work of the Jets. Which, first of all, the Jets, they need to clean house again. And Aaron Glenn is saying, "Oh, we know what we're doing." No, y'all don't. No, y'all don't. They shut down Fields for the rest of the year. They owe him $10 million guaranteed. The Jets are just a mess. But the Saints, they just won 3 straight. They are, man, if I was these teams, I wouldn't want to play them. Who are they playing next? Let me see who the Saints playing next. I mean, I don't want to take up too much time. I guess I should have figured it out. But yeah, man, they're looking pretty dangerous. And I guess Tyler Show should be the Rookie of the Year. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but again, neither of these teams are going anywhere. And the Jets, I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron Glell's still around once the season ends. I do think they should give him another chance, but at the end of the day, they can't. The Jets, they're just a very impatient franchise. They're a poorly run franchise. They throw their players under the bus. The owner threw Justin Fields under the bus. And it's just like, what are you going to do? So anyway, good game, Tyler Show. He put on a show. I know that was my dad joke. I know. Stop it. Be nice. It's Christmas.
Ho, 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 ho.
Oh, I forgot I got the Christmas bells too. Hold on. All right. Turn that off. All right, cool. So who we got next? We got the Vikings. They won the game, but McCarthy is out again. So we don't expect the Vikings to go anywhere anyway. But, I mean, every time you want to praise McCarthy, he gets hurt. So it's just like, they need to figure out their quarterback situation ASAP. Maybe keep Wentz in there. I don't know. But they need to figure it out because I don't know what to make of McCarthy. A few weeks ago, I was saying he's terrible. He's the worst in the draft. And then he turns around and has some good games. And now he's hurt again. So, damn, we got to worry about your playing ability. And now we got to worry about your health. It's just not looking good. Vikings are they're going to be out. And the Giants, of course, we know they're done. So, 16-13, it was a whatever game. Okay, now that my sound effects are working, here's my soldier salute to the Chiefs. RIP to my Super Bowl pick. We know Patrick Mahomes is the cornerstone of that franchise. But let's not forget, Andy Reid was winning without him. How do you lose to the Titans? Did they just completely give up? And now they're saying, oh, Andy Reid's got to go. I mean, these people, first of all, I don't know. I would love to work for a network, but I feel like they're forced to say outlandish things like, damn, you can't say the Chiefs are done as long as they got the three-headed monster. I don't think you should fire Reed. I think Reed should leave on his own terms. Spagnuolo should stick around. Mahomes, that's the key, right? I do feel like the media is jumping the gun, but we do have to see if Mahomes can come back to pure form, right? But I don't want to get ahead of myself. Specifically talking about this game. How do you lose to the Titans? Their morale is done. Their season is done. It's just embarrassing. I mean, get it together. I mean, I guess they got no reason to win, you know, but to the Titans? So the Chiefs got a lot of work to do in the offseason. We need to get Mahomes' full timetable of return, and then we need to see how Mahomes is going to do on that planting leg. He plants with that leg because he's right-handed. So it's going to be very interesting to see. But assuming he gets back to 100%, the Chiefs are still, in my opinion, the top dynasty, and no, Andy Reid should not get fired. And they're going to a new stadium. So, hey, you know, who knows what happens? Oh, boy. Maybe Burrow saw my last take last week, man. Listen, that man is a machine. Burrow is the real deal, right? He literally threw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. And Miami they kind of had a resurgence. Like they were like showing that they're a decent team. You know, I mean, you know, they did bench their quarterback, right? And Ewers, he did all right. I mean, he threw 2 interceptions, right? But I mean, yeah, I guess he didn't do all right. I just saw the 260 yards. I mean, look at it, 45-21, 23 first downs to the Dolphins 19, which isn't that much of a difference. 302 passing yards to 260 passing yards, 105 rushing yards to 129 rushing yards. But they had 3 turnovers. And the turnovers have been plaguing the Dolphins all year. Tua was a turnover machine. So these games don't matter, but it just showcases how good Burrow is and how if he's healthy, he needs to stop blaming the franchise. Just stay healthy, and they'll actually win more games. So, but yes, the Bengals do need a defense. But if y'all saw my post last time, I don't like how Burrow is trying to talk slick about the organizations when he's literally hurt half the time. So, but he did what he was expected, destroyed the Dolphins, and let's have a countdown for when McDaniels will be fired. The anticipation. McDaniels will be fired. Before the season is out or after? I don't know. Okay, where we going? Oh, man. Another useless game. You know, Mr. You Like That. He did good. If you guys don't know who I'm talking about Kirk Cousins. You know, they're a decent offense, but they're not going anywhere. The Cardinals, they have kind of competed in games, but they still lost. It's not really a quarterback issue because Brissett, I feel like, has been a good starter while he's been here. It's really just the whole organization. The Cardinals have a lot of cleaning house to do, and obviously we don't think Brissett's a long-term solution, but he can hold the fort down if they can just plug in the pieces around them to be better. While I guess they find their franchise quarterback. We know, I think the Raiders, they're the team that only has 2 wins, so they might get the first pick, assuming everybody loses out. But Cardinals can make some noise, man. They just got to figure it out. They got to figure it out. They need a quarterback, and they need just a better overall team. I don't know how long the coach is going to be around there, but Yeah, sad season for the Cardinals, and even more of a sad season for the Falcons because they actually have a good offense. But maybe going into next year, they can kind of recharge, and Penix has to stay healthy. He has to stay healthy. Bijan Robinson is excellent, and they just got to make a few tweaks. But, this was pretty much another pointless game. We're getting into that part of the year where a lot of these games don't even matter. Wow. Let me do it again. Oh my goodness. I was just talking about last week how Denver was unstoppable, how they are just beating everybody, and how Jacksonville hasn't been consistent enough for me to think that they could stop the Broncos. And boom, just like that. Remember, the AFC is wide open. It's literally anybody's chance to go all the way. Although I'm picking the Bills, but is it going to be the Broncos? Is it going to be the Patriots? Is it going to be are the Jaguars now someone you could expect to go to the Super Bowl? I don't know, man. I just can't believe they beat the Broncos. Cohen completely, what did he do? Duval. Remember he did that weird googly man, he turned that team around. So I'm shocked they beat the Broncos. 34-20, 22 first downs, 265 passing yards, and 81 rushing yards. Just a well-balanced game. They held the Broncos under 21 points. And the Broncos defense, they gave up 34 points. The Broncos have one of the top defenses in the league. They gave up 34 points to the Jags. Well, okay. Three touchdowns by Trevor Lawrence. Three passing touchdowns and one rushing touchdown. So 4 touchdowns from Trevor Lawrence. So, that's incredible. Their run defense did okay. They didn't get the Jags didn't get that much rushing yards, but this is just incredible. Trevor Lawrence literally put the team on his back, and he's really starting to look like a first pick, a first overall pick. But I still think he's inconsistent. But man, you got to give him his props, especially towards the second half of this season. He's doing his thing. So I am shocked that the Jaguars won, but man, it is what it is. Give them some crowd cheers. I love these. I guess Christmas came early, So it is what it is. Congrats to the Jaguars, man. This is unbelievable. So, all right. This was a crazy game. I think we already talked about it. Detroit Lions is in a tough spot, man. Detroit Lions are in a tough spot, right? But the Steelers, they pretty much have full control of the AFC North. The Ravens are out. Lamar Jackson got hurt. They're 2 games ahead, the Steelers are. And you got the Lions, who dropped 3 games ahead from number 1 to the Bears. So this is such a great year for football, man. Everything that we didn't expect to happen is happening. Now, can the Steelers build on this momentum? They got the experience. They could be the main challenger for the Bills because of their experience, because of Aaron Rodgers' experience, because of Mike Tomlin's experience. Could this be the time where they finally turn it around? We'll see. We'll see. But at the end of the day, this was a tough loss for the Lions. They put up good numbers, but at the end of the day, their rushing yards were horrendous. 15 yards rushing. What is wrong with Detroit? But Goff did his thing. He got 364 yards passing with 3 touchdowns. Hey, shout out to Jared Goff. You know, I always kind of criticize him a little bit, saying he can't win the big one, saying the Rams benefited by keeping Stafford, which obviously they did. I mean, Stafford's going to be the MVP. But anyway, man, this was just a bad showing. This was just the Lions are just catching tough breaks. But the Steelers, they got the AFC North on lock, so we'll see how far that takes them. All right. Okay. This game was a little interesting. I didn't expect Houston to... I mean, I thought Houston would win convincingly, not like blow them out, but I thought they'd be up at least 2 scores. I mean, they literally had to win with a pick 6. The Texans did. If not, they would have lost to the Raiders. That just sounds weird. So this is just any given Sunday. The Raiders are most likely going to get the number 1 overall pick. But the issue is, what are they going to do with Carroll? What are they going to do with Smith? Those guys are not really the future. Carroll's more of a win-now coach. You can't rebuild with someone that old. And I'm not being ageist or anything. I'm just saying Carroll's the oldest coach in the NFL. So you're going to rebuild with somebody at that stage of his career. You need a win-now coach. And that's what they kind of thought he would be, which is weird, bad decision-making. I don't think you're going to win now with Geno Smith. So the Raiders are they're doing what the Raiders do. But the Houston, they edged it out. And they won by any means necessary. You can punch them in the playoffs, in my opinion. They're only behind the Jaguars. So, I mean, this will be interesting to see how far they go. And hopefully C.J. Stroud could really come alive and prove why he is the best quarterback taken in his draft. So, that remains to be seen. But the Raiders... done. Okay. And last but not least, probably one of the most disappointing seasons ever. The Ravens. This was supposed to be the game, if you guys remember what I said last week, where Lamar Jackson shows that he is the franchise quarterback. Kind of like what Josh Allen is doing. I feel like the Bills and the Ravens are very similar. They have a suspect defense, but they have 2 generational quarterbacks, right? But for Lamar, unfortunately, he got hurt again. So it just feels like it just feels like the John Harbaugh is really on the hot seat because the Ravens really let this season go. And a lot of it is due to Lamar Jackson's health issues, right? 100%. He's been hurt a lot this year. But when he's been able to bring them and put up a good fight. They had a big win streak when he came back in. They're only 7-8. They were just 2 weeks ago, they were competing for the division. So, it's just crazy how up and down the Ravens have been and how now everyone is calling for the job of Harbaugh. And they're even, and this is again what I talked about the media, there are even some whispers saying, should they trade Lamar Jackson? You see how the team performs when he's healthy. Now, there are 2 things to break out for that, right? If you get rid of Lamar Jackson, you're going to be in the dumps for a while until you find your franchise quarterback. But if you keep him, you will have a similar situation to what the Bills have. Who is their number 1 competition that constantly beats them every year? The Chiefs. It's almost like how the Patriots were when teams like the Indianapolis Colts and Peyton Manning were trying to win. Peyton Manning is regarded as the best quarterback in the league too at one point. He broke so many records, but he could never get past Brady. Right? He was eventually able to get a win. Okay. With the Patriots out of the picture. So it's the same with the Ravens, the Bills, the Bengals. Now that the Chiefs are out, this was their time to show out. But again, Burrow and Lamar both got hurt. So if I was the Ravens, and again, this is probably just media talk, I don't think they should trade Lamar Jackson. Because we still don't know how good Mahomes is going to be the next couple years, given his leg. But it's always going to be a back and forth between those four guys because those quarterbacks are that good. Lamar is just outstanding when he's healthy. But in the playoffs, he does choke. Is it the Mahomes effect? You remember he faced them in the AFC divisional game. They were the number one. The Ravens were the number one seed, and Lamar made bad decisions. He was trying to force the ball in. He was trying too hard to be a passer when he could have just ran it in some of those plays. I remember that specifically. Then last year, he had some weird fumbles that were completely pointless. He fumbled the snap. He dropped, he made some mistakes that you could not afford to make against the Bills. And they did try to shift the focus to the tight end, dropping the pass or whatever. But no, that was on Lamar. He's lost 4 out of 5 playoff games. And most of it is because they do have to get past the Chiefs, but also you do have to question his playoff performance, his capability to win the big games. Right? So it just looks like their window is closing. But if you trade Lamar, you're really going to have to start over. So, but the problem is if his contract is almost up and he's going to demand market value. And that's the dilemma they're in. He is the best quarterback, but can we trust him in the playoffs? One of the best quarterbacks. Can we trust him in the playoffs? And can he stay healthy during the regular season? That remains to be seen. It'll be interesting to see how they play it, but I don't think they should trade him. But I do think they got to figure it out ASAP, because if he's looking for another long-term deal and then you get the same results, no playoff wins, always getting hurt, that's going to be a big mistake. But we know when healthy, he can throw it as good as any of them. And that was my criticism when he was trying to get his first big deal. It was like, oh, he never proven that he can make the throws. He can throw them now. His passing game has been top tier, and his scrambling abilities are still there. He can still escape the pocket. He just does dynamic things. But the front office does have to make a decision. Do you want to roll the dice with him for another 5 years? Maybe if he pulls the Tom Brady route and takes a pay cut so he can help his other team get better players, because the reality is the Ravens don't have a defense. And Harbaugh is on the hot seat. So just a lot of moving parts. But I think Lamar should stay, and I think he should take a pay cut, not demand the highest market value, and understand that he's been hurt the past few playoff. The fact that he's only won 4 out of 5 playoff games, and also he was hurt a lot this year. They need to take that into consideration. So, but if he really wants to win, I mean, if I were him, I would go the Tom Brady route and just say, hey, you know what? You don't got to pay me full price. I want to win, because again, you got Allen, and then you got these young guns, Drake May, who, I mean, he played like MVP as usual, 374 passing yards. Let me see his official stats. 380 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, only 1 interception. He got 25 yards on the ground. I mean, he is performing very well. And if he keeps doing this, he's going to get in the mix with the Burrows and the Jacksons and the Josh Allens, But at the end of the day, the Ravens got to make some decisions. But congratulations to the Pats. They're 12-3. It'll be good to see how they perform in the playoffs. And I think that's it. Thank y'all for joining me. Hopefully y'all enjoy the holidays. Playing some more of my sound effects. Hold on. Yeah.
Merry
And
Christmas.
maybe I'll touch base with you guys tomorrow after the Thursday games. And actually, hold on. That's right. We're not done yet. we got the Thursday games. Real quick. You got Dallas versus Washington. It doesn't even matter at this point. Mariota's out. I don't even know what Dallas wants to do, if they even want to bother playing Prescott, start him or sit him. Who knows? You know, I don't know. It doesn't. This is another pointless game, but it's a good rivalry. You know, Cowboys versus Indians. Well, even though they're not the Redskins anymore, it's a good rivalry. But I just feel like Dallas, unfortunately, as painful as it is to say, they do have a little more talent. But as a Commanders fan, I'm gonna just give it to the Commanders. Commanders win. Oh wow, this is another one. I'm going to give this to Detroit because they have to win. And J.J. McCarthy, he's been inconsistent and he's actually injured. So Detroit, I feel like they're going to win that one. They have to. So if they lose to Minnesota with the backup, then Dan Campbell needs to get suspended. I know they ain't going to fire him the way he turned the program around, but they need to damn near bench him for a couple games. They should do that to some of these coaches just to, get them in check a little bit. So anyway, easy win for the Lions. But I guess that's my hot take. If they lose to Minnesota with the backup, Dan Campbell needs to be benched. Not fired, just benched. Okay. We are getting into that with this team, with the Broncos. We are getting to that time of the year where do you really want to keep playing them or do you want to sit them? And with as bad as the Chiefs are performing, is it worth keeping your starters in there and risking a playoff loss? Maybe I need to pull up the playoff scenarios, but are they trying to clinch a bye week, or I don't know? It's getting real tricky. But assuming they keep the starters in, easy win for the Broncos. Chiefs are completely crushed in morale. So that'll be an easy win. But we'll see. That'll be a Christmas Day game. Hold on. All those games are Christmas Day. So, but assuming they keep everybody in there, even if they keep them for the first half, Denver is going to win this one easy. So, all right. Now, that was the end of the game, the end of the show. Thank y'all for joining. I'll probably see y'all tomorrow. If not, definitely this weekend to recap Sunday's games. And y'all enjoy the holidays, eat good, and spend time with your loved ones. And I'll see y'all later.